Next, we're going to discuss the use of index of method applied to the array class rather than a string variable you remember from IDSC 3101. Okay, the difference is that instead of a variable, you provide an array and the matching string or number, and if the match occurred, you will get an index of that element where the match occurred rather than the position in the string you remember from the intro class. If the match failed, just like in your intro class, a -1 will be returned, and you can use that to test for the fail. This is as I just said, the same as it was before. I, however, tend to use the for next loop when searching through an array rather than index of, but we'll probably use a little bit of both of these approaches. In addition to searching arrays, the parsing and concatenating the two sort of similar operations are discussed next. Copying an array is best done on element by element basis, as we already demonstrated when we assigned and converted the temp array from using C double to MTH payment array elements. We could have copied an array to another using a simple assignment operator as well. In this case, it would have been MTH PMT simply equal, which means assigned to C double of TMT. I don't know if the C double would have worked, but we could certainly, if the arrays are the same data type, we can copy them by just assigning one to another. However, the biggest drawback of that, or consequence of that, is that they occupy the same memory locations. Okay, so if you change one of the arrays, the other one changes as well, which is typically what you don't want to do. So it's kind of weird, and it's sort of best avoided unless you really want it, want that particular effect. So each of our text files with 10 customers and monthly payments could have consisted of a single line, where each data piece could have been separated by a comma. Okay, kind of like in this example here with these 4 names. Then we would read the entire line into a simple string variable and parse the data pieces using split method right here, okay, of a string variable, and then assign the results to an array, which in this case would have 4 elements. In our case, would have had 10. Join function at the very bottom of the slide does the opposite, taking array elements and concatenating them into one long string separated by commas, if that's something that would be useful. Next, we discuss functions, procedures, and how they work with arrays, or how the arrays work with them. So functions, those useful pieces of code that can be reused multiple times, can return arrays just as they do single values. Declaration is mostly the same, except that the return type, for example double, has a set of open-close parentheses. Okay, so just like here, indicating that the return is not a single value but rather an array. So we will demonstrate with an example that will use a split string method to also sort of piggyback on the previous slide's content of a string variable, and sort of parse it out into an array that will be then passed back to the main program. Okay. On the other hand, an array can be passed into a procedure, as the bottom of the slide here discussed, sub or function as an argument as well. Declaration is the same as with regular procedures or procedure arguments, except that again the array is declared with an open-close set of parentheses, just like here. When the function of sub is called, the entire array without open-close parentheses, just like here, is passed to that procedure. Okay, the key thing to remember, however, is that an array like MTH PMT right here is always passed by reference. So changing the array elements within this procedure or a function will change the array elements in the main. Okay, so to demonstrate, we will use a function returning interest rates array. It will be called get customer rates. It will receive string of rates, parse them out, and return that array back to the caller, and then we'll use it to find something like an average or something. Okay. On the other hand, We're also going to pass a monthly payment array completely as a unit into an add fee procedure, and then because it's passed as a reference, and if the payment is under $2,000, we're going to add $100 monthly fee, and you'll see how those will be reflected back in the main function because of the passing by reference effect. So to do all this, we shall return to our PMT or payment calculator project. We'll scroll down to the bottom, all the way to the bottom after the stats sub. We're going to start by creating a function. Okay, that's the first demo, and then the sub is the second one. Get cost rates, okay, which is going to receive a string as rates as string, and it's going to return an array of type double. Okay, so the open close parenthesis indicates that a return is an array. Okay, so this string that it will pass is this string of interest rates, of 10 interest rates from 7% all the way to 5 at the end. Okay, we're going to declare a temp rates array, a string, okay, and then we're going to load it, temp rates, using a sRates string that was passed from the main function, and the split procedure using a comma to separate the values. As you can see, those commas are right here after each of the interest rates. Okay, now TMP rates is a string. Okay, we have to find how many elements are there. We know that there are 10, but nevertheless we should do that as a matter of habit, using the count method, of course. And then we're going to dim the rates, interest rates array with num rates, or num rate. I guess I wanted to have rates as a plural. Not that that's a big deal. -1. Okay, as double. Okay, so this is that double array that's going to be returned from this function. Okay, now the way we're going to do the conversion is the same way as we did in the form load procedure, I believe. You're going to use for I as integer, going from 0 to num rates -1, and we're going to assign rates elements using C double from temp rates. Okay, and then after the loop concludes, we're going to return the entire rates array back to the caller. The caller is the display click event button right here. We'll call the get cost rates function, and we're going to return entire rates array, and we're going to calculate and display the average interest rate in txt avg rate.text. Okay, so the call is going to place by calling get cost rates, okay, passing that string str rates from up here, str rates. Okay, all right, that returns the entire, so this thing here, right, this is essentially our rates as double array, on which we can then use the average method, and then we can convert it to string. I think it's with a p, with a % formatting. Okay, so if you save this, run it, okay, we can display all the loans again. You can calculate the stats, they're all the same, and you'll see that, you know, after displaying the loan button was clicked, the 6.4% average interest rate was calculated. Okay, the last demonstration, our last demonstration is going to be in passing the entire MTH PMT array into the add fee procedure, as was indicated over here. If the payment is under 2,000, we're going to add 1,000 fee. Because of the by reference nature of passing arrays to procedures, it will change those particular payments, the ones that are under 2,000, and add, you know, it'll have more than, you know, it'll have 100 extra bucks in it, and then we're going to display the result in the list box and recalculate the stats. So we're going to go down to the bottom again, we're going to create a sub in this case, sorry, to demonstrate that. So sub add fee. Okay, the argument for the sub is an array. Let's call it pay just to make it different. Remember, it has to have those open close empty parentheses as double. Okay, and then all we want to do is find, we're going to dimension, we're going to declare an integer variable, and we're going to find how many of those monthly payments are there, and then we're going to just simply loop for I as integer going from 0 to n minus 1, and we're going to check if pay is under, if payment is under 2,000, then pay is going to be changed. And this is where the change takes place, right? So now by doing by adding this $100, we are changing the original MTH PMT array in the main function, which in this case is the display button, right? So what we're going to do here, we're going to call the procedure to add the fees. Okay, so add fee, and we'll pass it MTH PMT, and then we have to display this one more time. So what we're going to do, I'm going to add sort of a divider, list loans dot items dot add. It's going to have, you know, a bunch of dashes, add fees, and a bunch more dashes. I forgot how many I had. Probably a little too many. It doesn't kind of matter. And then I'm just going to copy paste the loop that's going to redisplay these customers and their monthly payments that are now changed with this additional fee. So let's save that, run this. We'll hit the display loans. Okay, you'll see the 10 customers. You'll see the original loan values, right? Now you'll see the additional fee. So for example, if we picked, the first one is the simplest, 1787 under 2,000. Now it's 1887. The same for the others. Now if you display the payment stats, you'll notice that the minimum is not 1066 by 1166. Maximum is still the same as before because it's over 2,000, and the average payment went up slightly. Okay, so this brings us to the end of the first series of these videos on basics of arrays in Visual Basic. Next, what we're going to do is complete additional in-class examples, and then you'll be ready to start working on the first assignment for this class. I'm going to stop the recording here.